Welcome to MMT Chats. This episode is brought to you by ISCAR with new ideas for machining intelligently. Hey MMT followers, I'm Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology, and my guest on today's MMT Chat is Kyle Joseph of Accede Mold and Tool. Kyle is one of MoldMaking Technology's 30 under 30 honorees. So hello Kyle and congratulations.
Hi, thank you.
Why don't you explain to the viewers what your current position is and what you do every day?
Okay, so my current position, my title is program engineer. My main focus is tool design. We're a bit of a smaller company, so even though my focus is on tool design, it usually means that I become the main point of contact for that program. So from the very beginning, when the customer sends a 3D part and says we need to make a 4A cavity mold for this part, go through the design process, present the design of the customer to management, and then from there, I'll kind of monitor the program on the floor. So I'll be answering questions from machinists and operators as mold components are fabricated. And then when it comes time to qualify the tool and sample it at our facility, usually we'll have the customers visit, and I'll be press side with them as the tool runs for the first time. Or if we don't have the capability of sampling it at Accede, then I've also traveled to assist in installations at our customers' facilities. So yeah, it's nice to get a little bit of, I guess you wouldn't exactly call it hands-on experience, but it's more than just sitting at a desk and designing in 3D CAD all day long. You know, you get interactions with the customers, and you get to see all these different facilities, and you get to learn a little bit about the product too.
And the customer. What I like about this, it sounds like you're way more than a typical or standard design engineer. You are able to see that part of the process, but you're able to see where that tool goes in the end. So you're getting to see the whole picture. I think that's so valuable, right. And I don't know that I hear that too often. So that's great exposure for you.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. And Accede, we specialize in high cavitation, complex molds, usually complex mold action, things like that. So it's been great to see a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're a top-notch shop, and I know Camille serves on MoldMaking's editorial advisory board, but they are a shop that I've known and watched for years. They really got it going on over there. So it's great that you have that opportunity. So why don't you back up a little bit? Why don't you give us a brief snapshot? Like, how did you get here? What were you like as a kid? Like, I kind of want to give the viewers a sense of how you ended up at Accede, even in manufacturing and mold building in particular. Take us through your education, your interests growing up, and give us a taste of that.
Okay. My interests, I guess, I had a wide range of interests as a kid. I grew up in Rochester, New York, which is where Accede is located. Grew up playing sports, baseball. If we're going back even further as a kid, I used to love playing with Legos. I know a lot of engineers love to reference that. Through high school, I loved math, and I wanted to be able to apply the math to something that I could see, which is where mechanical engineering comes in. I wasn't too interested in electrical or some of the other disciplines. So I wanted to get into a manufacturing environment and kind of see things come to life. So I studied mechanical engineering at Canyon University in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I actually met Adam, who is now our Vice President of Engineering and Technology at Accede. I met him at the Penn State Barron Job Fair. I think my story is similar to a lot of people's stories who are in the mold making industry. They didn't know too much about it, but as soon as they, happened to start in the industry by chance, they really became interested in it immediately and really wanted to learn as much as they could. So that's what I did.
What would you say is your number one challenge so far in your career? What has been?
The biggest challenge was learning curve. obviously, because I really knew very little about the molding industry.
What has been the most interesting technology that you've seen or used so far?
I had gone to an installation at one of our customers' facilities, and they have a very big plant, and we had designed a stack mold for them. And so they actually had these robotic carts that they had this room where they would pack all the parts, and the carts would sit in their little parking spots that was dedicated to those robots, and they would get a signal from one of the cells saying that there was a box full of parts that was ready to be packaged up. And so they'll know which cell to go to, how to get there, and pick up the box themselves, bring it back, and it'll actually dump it off onto this conveyor belt.
Wow.
Where the box will be packaged up, taped up, and all ready to ship. So it was just really fun to watch those
That's
work.
automation. Yeah, as these things are whizzing by you, right? What has been the most interesting project that you've been involved in so far, and what was your role?
So for that same customer that we were just talking about, like I said, we had built them a stack mold. They actually ended up buying 4 of the same mold, and so they're huge stack molds, over 30,000 pounds, and the cells are enormous. It was a huge project. But that was probably my favorite project to work on, just because with that program, not only were we working with the press manufacturer, we were working with, it had in-mold labeling, we had to work with in-mold labeling, we had to work with the automation supplier. A lot of teamwork on that program.
You guys you're all troubleshooters and problem solvers. That's pretty much what you do all day, right? You're trying to make a better product or make the product a better way, in a better way. So it's like you're constantly using that engineering brain to figure things out. And I'm jealous of that when my brain's the creative side of the brain, not that mechanical side. So I think that's really cool. So let's segue to workforce development. So if you can, mentoring is a huge topic, right? And a lot of people define that as a senior level person, pretty much educating a junior level or somebody new into the industry. But how do you define mentoring?
Like I said, Adam Philpatti was our engineering manager when I was brought on to Accede, and I would say that he mentored me those first 2.5 years I worked at Accede, and it was valuable because he had about 20 years of experience at that point, and he could explain things to me in a way where it was, this is how we used to do things, and this is the reason why we don't do it that way anymore. And just to kind of give you some background into, what works and what doesn't.
What doesn't? I like that. Do you feel that it goes the other way too? Have you taught him things coming in from it, maybe from a different perspective, or just being younger?
I mentioned, some of the older engineers have been there for so many years that it's, they want to know what are our thoughts on things. They want a fresh perspective.
What do you believe has to change in the manufacturing or mold manufacturing environment to attract more next generation, more people like you into the industry?
I think it's important to emphasize to high school students that getting into a trade can be very rewarding, and you can make a very good living in a trade. And I think you wouldn't really realize that some of the guys at Accede who have started as apprentices and kind of worked their way up as machinists and are now mold makers, they get to travel to do these installations. They get to see a lot of cool things in their role.
What do you think is the number one skill or characteristic someone should possess to be successful in mold making?
Just, I guess, a willingness to learn from those who have already done it.
All right, last question. Could be a toughie. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
It's a really hard question to answer. I could tell you 5 years ago, I couldn't see myself here in the molding industry. I hardly knew anything about molding. So hopefully in 5 years, I'm still in a position where I can be exposed to, a lot of different things, not just, like we said, not just sitting in front of a computer designing.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next 5 years, I can spend more time traveling to customers' facilities, and seeing, all their different ways of doing things, and hopefully in a role where I can kind of be more of a leader, and
I like it.
And hopefully maybe not be the mentor for someone, but kind of help the younger guys
Yeah.
fit
Pay it
into their
forward,
role.
right? Pay it forward.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I love it. So
Yeah.
learning so you can then become a future leader. I think that's brilliant. And I can tell by the nomination, they love you over there, and they completely value your leadership, already your leadership and communication skills. So I want to say congrats to you again. And I look forward to hearing your reaction when you see yourself in print and this video out there. We're going to be pushing everything out, getting people to get to know you, a little taste of who Kyle is and how he got here. So again, congratulations and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
All right, and to everyone watching, remember, for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com. Stay safe and healthy, and more importantly, stay informed and stay inspired.